Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. Well, those of you following me on Strava, or maybe if you're just following me on Instagram or Facebook, see that I run quite a bit, 30 to 40 miles a week, and I ride a little bit too, not as much as I run, but I've been riding since I got a bike again in 2012 and been riding fairly consistently since then. And a lot of you guys have been asking questions about what you can do to get back into like running or riding, and you're starting from a brand new point of view. So I'm going to give you my advice today as to what kind of bike to get. Alright, first bike up, the Beach Cruiser. Well, that's the kind of bike I got back in 2012 when I first got back into cycling. And let me just save you a bunch of headache and trouble. Just don't get one. They're big, they're heavy, you're kind of limited on how far it can go, and forget about going uphill. So the bottom line is, yeah, you won't be riding it all that much, and you'll limit how far you can push yourself fitness-wise. Alright, next up is the mountain bike. Well, they're good for some riders and they're bad for other riders. So let me say who it's good for first. I think if you live in a very non-urban environment where there's a lot of dirt, a lot of trails, and not a lot of highways and roads to ride, yeah, a mountain bike is the choice to get. You'll get your usage out of that for sure. You'll appreciate all it has to offer. Well, for the rest of us that live in a more urban environment, I would say no. Don't get a mountain bike. Why? Because I see this happen all the time. Guys that I see struggling on their big, heavy beach cruisers, well, they graduate to a big, heavy mountain bike, and they're still getting dropped by guys like me, and even Angie's I see her like whip past these guys on these big, heavy mountain bikes. Why? They're heavy. They're just not the ideal bike to ride in a city or on a road environment. Just way, there's way lighter and better bikes to get. So don't be tempted by a mountain bike unless you happen to live amongst a lot of dirt. Alright, next up is the classic, the road bike. I mean, this is the kind of bike that most of us should be looking at getting. It's got everything you want. They're a lot lighter than mountain bikes, so much easier to ride up hills and mountains. You can tuck down pretty low in the drop bars, so you can like push through wind, and that's what really is the hardest thing about biking. Once you get above like 12-13 miles an hour, it's really aerodynamic. It's wind resistance that you encounter. That's what makes pedaling increasingly more difficult. So the lower down you could tuck into the bars, the more aerodynamic you'll be. Trade-offs, well, they're not quite as comfortable as a bike that's more upright, like say a mountain bike or a beach cruiser, especially if you have like a sore or bad back, not good flexibility there. You might find tucking down kind of low, but you don't have to tuck down. You could still ride up high on the bars and just be a little bit less aerodynamic. Alright, and lastly, the hybrid road bike. It's a hybrid of like a road bike and a mountain bike, and this is what I happen to have. I bought a Jameis Coda at the end of 2012, and I got it for like under 400 bucks. They were like clearing the year-end models out, and that's what sealed the deal for me. I didn't have a lot of money at the time on a bike, but I knew I wanted to get into it. But anyway, I can give you a really good rundown of what I like about a hybrid and what I don't. Well, first of all, the good stuff. It's got a road bike frame. The geometry is a little more relaxed. You're not in this aggressive crunch down kind of position. You're a little more upright, which is good for if you don't want to like hurt your back too much. And it has a mountain bike bars. You see, it's a flat bar rather than the bars where you can tuck down, which is, again, it keeps you in a slightly more upright position. The trade-off is, yeah, you're less aerodynamic when you're going into a headwind or when aerodynamics is a factor when you're going fast. And what I really love about these bikes, though, is I don't want to get too technical here, the big front gear, the crank. It's called a triple crank. It has 3 rings. And what's awesome about it, it has what's called a granny gear, really small ring, which you could spin really, really fast, and that comes in handy when you're climbing, when you're going up hills or mountains. So should have I gotten a road bike since it's more aerodynamic than a hybrid or a mountain bike or anything for that matter? Well, most of my rides, like 90-odd% of my rides, are not rides. I'm riding to the bank, I'm going to the post office, I'm going to the market, and I have a nice tray or rack on the back of my back, over the back tire, where I strap on all sorts of, I could put postage and food on there. So this bike suits me really well. And then when I go on a more serious ride, I lighten up the bike and I climb, I go on long rides. yeah, sure, it'd probably be a little bit easier and more aerodynamically easy for me if I had a road bike, but I'm fine with it right now. So the bike's really not going to be the limiting factor, assuming you have a decent enough bike, not, you know, not a beach cruiser, and hopefully not a mountain bike in an urban environment. So that's the most important thing, guys, is get out there and get a bike. Don't worry about all the expensive crap. I don't have, you know, I don't have cycling jerseys. I don't have clip-in cycling shoes. I wear my old slip-on Vans. They work just fine, you know, and I don't get dropped by my friends when we go out. Like I said, it's because I'm fit. I've been building my fitness for years. So the most important thing is get something and use it consistently. If that means if all you have is an old beach cruiser to get you started like I did a few years ago, so be it. You'll all grow it at some point and you'll get a new bike when you're ready. So just start your fitness now. Don't wait. Just don't save your money for a year and not get fit over that year. Just get a bike, get out there and ride. So hopefully you got something out of this video. If so, hit like down there or wherever the like button is, and subscribe for more from Angie and myself here at Happy Healthy Vegan. So until next time, get out there and get fit and keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb.